The room was filled with sunlight that casted a warm glow on the cozy space. The walls were adorned with colorful artwork and framed photographs capturing precious moments frozen in time. Toys are scattered across the floor, evidence of the vibrant energy that fills the apartment. Ryan, who was now 27, stood in the middle of the room wearing a suit and tie. Her hair is neatly styled and a sense of confidence radiates from her. She was not a very successful lawyer yet she was happy. She entered her room, which was a complete mess thanks to her 5-year-old son. Ryan looked around and saw a part of toy peeking out of the curtain. The woman smiled. I wonder where my little Chimmy went. Vine placed her hands on her waist while slowly walking towards her son. She removed the curtain and a little boy tried to run away, but Vine was fast enough to catch him. She started tickling him, causing the little boy giggle uncontrollably. Vine said playfully, pulling the younger's cheek. The boy has inherited his father's striking features with dark hair. Sparkling eyes that reflect an innocence untouched by the hardships of life, and his father's boxy smile. Ryan asked. Her 5-year-old nodded with a pout. She kissed his cheeks, helping him to wear his shoes and tying his laces afterwards. Okay, what are you gonna say when teacher asks your name? The little boy gave her a high five. The mother son duo giggles, their laughter filling the room like music. The bustling city park is alive with the sound of laughter and playfulness. Families gather on picnic blankets, children run around chasing bubbles. The air is filled with a sense of carefree happiness. Among the crowd, Taehyung, who was now 28, sits alone on a bench. His once vibrant personality has dimmed, replaced by a cold and distant aura. His eyes scan the park, searching for something that seems forever out of his reach. It was his daily routine. To come in this park near his office and just sit there. This place gives him peace. A group of children playing nearby catches Taehyung's attention. His gaze lingers on a little girl, her laughter echoing in his ear as she played with her parents. She reminds him of his dream that he dreamed with Vian. How he wanted a family, only if Vian wouldn't have messed up, things could have been better. Taehyung clenches his face contouring with anger and pain. Vian and Taemin got out of the car as little Taemin held Vian's hand while crossing the road. They finally entered the school. Small kids running here and there in ground. Some were enjoying on the slides and some were on the swings. Vian sat on her knees, holding her son's shoulder while looking at him with a proud smile. Just how fast the time changes. It felt like yesterday when he was a little baby crying for the first time, and now here he was going to school. A teacher came to them and smiled at Vian, who bowed. We'll take care of him, Miss Park, don't worry. She assured and Ryan nodded. The teacher held Taemin's hand, taking him inside. Ryan smiled while waving at her little Jimmy, who looked back again and again. As they walked away, Ryan sighs. Her smile fades momentarily as she gazes at the gate by which Taemin went inside, her heart carrying the weight of the thought that what if Taehyung was here with her? Not a single day goes by without Ryan thinking about Taehyung, how her life changed just because of that one moment. How it would have been if she wouldn't have signed that FIR. No way in hell she wanted Taehyung's father to be arrested on their wedding day. She wanted to tell Taehyung about everything first, but the pressure that came from the victim's family was unbearable. It was not even their fault. Ryan doesn't regret taking that case, but she regrets not telling Taehyung anything when she had time. The thought started overpowering Ryan, but she quickly shakes off the melancholy, focusing on the present and the joy she has found in her son. Hey Taehyung, they heard someone call him. He looked back and saw his friend Jungkook. After Ryan, Jungkook was the one that shared office with Taehyung. He was a good lawyer, a bubbly one. Let's get back to work. Lunchtime is over, Jungkook told, and Taehyung simply nodded. He got up, giving one last glance to the happy family before walking away with his friend. Why do you always come here? Nothing, it's just the place is nice. Is that all? You know what I think? They looked at the other male curiously. I think you go here to find the love of your life. Come on, tell me, don't be shy. Jungkook teasingly bumped his shoulder onto Taehyung's. Tae just shook his head. I don't want to get involved in such things ever again. Jungkook sat at his desk in the shared office, engrossed in his work. It's been 2 hours he's working consistently. He glanced outside. Dark clouds loomed overhead, signaling an imminent downpour. Getting worried about Taehyung, who always forgot to bring an umbrella, Jungkook reached for his phone and dialed his number. To his disappointment, Taehyung didn't answer the call. Jungkook sighed, knowing how absorbed Taehyung could get in something. He decided to finish up his own task quickly so he could go and find him. As he wrapped up his work, Jungkook's concern grew. He knew Taehyung had a habit of seeking solace in the nearby park during stressful times. Determined to find him before the rain poured down, Jungkook grabbed his coat and hurriedly left the office, not forgetting the umbrella. The park was only a short distance away, and as Jungkook approached, he noticed drops of rain begin to fall, creating a rhythmic patter on the pavement. His heart raced with worry as he scanned the park for any sign of Taehyung, and then he saw him. There, on a bench near the center of the park, sat Taehyung, drenched from head to toe. His usually impeccable suit clung to his body, and his hair was plastered against his forehead. The rain poured relentlessly around him, but he seemed lost in his own world. Jungkook's heart rate at the sight. He rushed towards Taehyung, calling out his name. Taehyung, what are you doing out here in the rain? Taehyung looked up. Jungkook reached Taehyung's side, concern etched on his face. Why didn't you answer my call? I was worried about you. You're completely drenched. Tae let out a bitter chuckle, running a hand through his wet hair. I didn't even realize my phone was ringing. My mind has been elsewhere. Jungkook took off his coat and draped it over Taehyung's shoulder, trying to shield him from the rain. What's been bothering you? You can talk to me, you know. Taehyung's eyes glistened with unshed tears as he looked at Jungkook. I'm fine. Jungkook furrowed his brows. Stop lying. I know you're not. Tae sighed. Jungkook's face softened. It's okay. Let's just go back. He said, putting a hand on Taehyung's shoulder. Van sat in her car, the raindrops pelting against the windshield, obscuring her view. She glanced at the clock on the dashboard, realizing she was running late to pick up Taemin from school. With a sigh, she tightened her grip on the steering wheel and maneuvered through the rain soaked streets. As she arrived at the school, Van hurriedly parked her car and grabbed an umbrella from the back seat. She opened it up, shielding herself from the downpour as she made her way towards the school entrance. The rain poured relentlessly, making it difficult to see clearly. Van spotted Taemin standing near the entrance, his small frame huddled under a tree, seemingly affected by the rain. Van's heart swelled with concern as she approached her son. Van called out, holding the umbrella over his head. Taemin turned towards his mother, a mischievous glint in his eyes. Van's eyebrows furrowed with worry. She knew how easily Taemin could catch a cold, especially in this weather. Van hesitated, torn between wanting to protect her son and allowing him to enjoy the simple pleasures of childhood. She looked into Taemin's pleading eyes and sighed. Taemin's face lit up with a bright smile as he nodded eagerly, putting umbrella aside. Vian held out her hand. Taemin took it, his small fingers intertwining with Vian's as they walked towards an open area in the schoolyard. The rain poured down around them, soaking their clothes and making their hair stick to their foreheads. Taemin let go of Vian's hand and jumped in puddles, twirling in circles, his laughter mingling with the sound of raindrops. Vian watched her son, a mix of worry and amusement on her face. She couldn't help but marvel at Taemin's carefree spirit, even in the midst of a storm. Despite the rain drenching him, Taemin seemed utterly content. It reminded her of Taehyung, the latter loved dancing in the rain. As Taemin giggled and splashed through puddles, Vian couldn't help but smile, feeling a sense of awe and gratitude. Vian leaned against a nearby tree, watching Taemin with a mix of admiration and affection. She had thousands of problems to deal with financial, emotional, and physical, but in this moment, she forgot them all because of Taemin. As Vian stood there watching Taemin revel in the rain, unwanted memories of Taehyung flooded her mind. It had been a painful time, filled with heartbreak and confusion. The day of their wedding, when Taehyung had abruptly left, had Vian shattered. Then Grandpa's death broke her completely. It was too much for Vian. She was broken to the point where she considered taking her life, but then she got to know about the life breathing within. It was shocking for her. That time, life was nothing less than hell for her. Without Taehyung, she suffered alone from the late night cramps, financial problems, work cravings, mood swings. She didn't had a helping hand. It's someone who could hold her hand and tell her it's gonna be alright. But amidst the hurt, Van couldn't help but remember the vibrant spirit that Taehyung possessed. Just like Taemin, Taehyung had always been adventurous and unafraid to chase after his dreams. He had a way of finding joy in the simplest of things, just like Taemin was doing now. Van recalled their early days together, the laughter they shared, and the way Taehyung's eyes sparkled with mischief. They had been inseparable, two souls intertwined in love and happiness. It was those memories that made Ryan fall in love with Taehyung in the first place. He was always calm with her, treated her like his queen. But misunderstandings and miscommunication had driven them apart. The 7 years were forgotten in a blink of an eye. Ryan had tried to reach out to mend their broken bond, but Taehyung had shut her out completely. The pain of that rejection still lingers within Ryan's heart as she watched Taehyung twirling in the rain. Ryan couldn't help but see glimpses of Taehyung in their son. The same mischievous glint in his eyes, the same carefree laughter that echoed through the storm. It reminded Ryan of the person Taehyung used to be, the person she hoped was still buried deep within her husband. Almost husband's heart.